I believe that college education should be free to students. Free college education will increase graduation and employment rates, minimize student loan debt, and help poor people leave the cycle of poverty. First off, let's talk about the price of college. The average cost of college in the US is $36,000 per year, which already seems pretty expensive, but it gets worse. The annual income for a worker working a minimum wage is only $15,000. The cost of college is about 2.37 times what some people make in a year. My family makes around $60,000 a year, and we still have money problems. So in 6 years, when I'm 20, my sister's 22, and my brother is 18, we'll have 3 kids in college. That's almost $108,000 for 1 year. And to get the jobs we want, I need at least 7 years of college, my sister at least 4. This means that in total, my sister and I are on the hook for around $396,000. Because as my parents have repeatedly told us, they are not paying a dime for our college, so we had better get a scholarship. And this isn't even the most expensive price. The Harvey Mudd College costs almost $78,000 per year, 5.5 times the minimum wage. Once people do go to college, they still have to graduate. As of 2019, 56% of college students can't afford their tuition, and 70% of college dropouts are because of the cost. Each year, around 2 million students drop out of college before earning their diploma. That means that around 1.4 million students are dropping out because they simply can't afford to stay. And the rest of the 56% that can't afford it are now putting themselves into debt. Making a college education free would allow those students to stay in college and avoid debt. Now, income and employment. The annual income for someone with no college education is a bit over $35,000. The annual income for someone with a bachelor's degree is about $59,000. Now, I might think that $35,000 is a lot of money, but I'm also a 14-year-old with no job and no family to support. And those that continue to a professional degree make around $90,000 on average per year. Those with a professional degree have the lowest unemployment rate, with only 1.5% of holders unemployed. Those with no college at all have an unemployment rate of 5.4%. And while these numbers may seem pretty small, the population of America is 328.2 million. So these small numbers represent a lot of people. And if college education is free, we could minimize student loan debt, which is the second largest contributor to household debt after mortgage. Yeah, school is right after a house on the list of most expensive things in many households. As of 2020, the U.S. had around $1.5 trillion in student loan debt, with the average American having around $20,000 to $40,000 in debt. With college education becoming more popular and mandatory for a decent job in the U.S., the numbers are only going to rise. In 2004, the amount of student loan debt was $250 billion. In 16 years, the amount of national student loan debt has risen $1.25 trillion, about 5 times the original amount. If college education was free, even if the government doesn't pay off the existing debt, it will diminish future debt, and the number will decrease rather than increase. And if people aren't using their money to pay off debt, they have more money to use to afford a better lifestyle. And if people have more money to spend, more money is being put back into the economy. In addition to the aforementioned benefits, free education would also help the poor. As of 2019, the poverty rate for America was 10.5%. This means that almost 34.5 million people make under $13,000 a year. Those people can't afford to pay $30,000 for a college education. They can't afford a higher education, which limits their job opportunities, limiting their salary options, and keeping them in poverty. If a decent college education was free, then those people would have a chance to get a better job and make it above the poverty line. And while this might not benefit everyone, but for those with a future, a college education may end up being a necessity later on, and the way it's going, it won't be a possible one.